one of the difficult part and one of the situation or scenario which make a patient always very, very disappointed and sometimes even start the finger pointing that who is responsible for the not getting egg or ovulate. So what that means is when lady ready for the in vitro fertilization, but during the egg retrieval, we do not get egg. Or patient ready for egg retrieval, but found out patient is just ovulate. In this kind of situation, of course, after spending so much time and effort, that was the outcome, of course, is a very disappointing for the patient, and that could be devastating, but also extremely disappointing for the doctor. So I would like to address this issue today. So first of all, I would like to describe what's the basic mechanism that egg is mature and ready to leave the body and leave the ovary to get a lady pregnant naturally. So in this picture, and let's see if we can zoom in a little bit so you guys can see better. So this is a picture show a typical physiology of reproduction. This is a lady's brain, this little peanut-sized gland called the pituitary gland, which produces all the controlling, commanding hormones to the ovary, to let the ovary to perform this egg production process, to let the ovary to produce hormone called estradiol and progesterone. And this hormone helps to build out endometrium, and this hormone only rising after you ovulate to chemically change the endometrium ready for embryo to implant. And if this does not happen, it will give you menses. So without central command to give the information to the ovary to start this process, you will not have a period. So that's very simple. If you have a period, meaning that you are most time you ovulate. So the egg actually grow closely attached to the follicular wall, firmly actually, until the very last 24 to 36 hours under the influence of a so-called LH surge, which induces final maturation. The process of final maturation including detachment of the egg from the follicular wall, and then they are going to be naturally release the egg. And in the case of in vitro fertilization, immediately before the egg release, we put the needle through the ovary under the ultrasound guidance, so we can see the tip of the needle. We go to follicle and we aspirate this egg out. At the moment when the egg just detached from the follicular wall, but the follicular wall has not ruptured. So now you can appreciate, because the size of the follicle, the egg is only about the size of the diameter of your hair, very hard to identify. So to get egg, we should go to a very small area inside of the follicle. If you already ovulate, meaning the follicle already ruptured, then the needle will not be able to find the target, and most likely, most often, the egg already left the follicle. That's how you're not getting egg. If you try to do egg retrieval, but find you are already a lady already ovulated before this process. So one of the common reasons not be able to get egg is that the patient just ovulates before we want to perform this egg retrieval process. So what does it mean, empty follicle syndrome? Or we actually did not experience follicle rupture, but when we perform this procedure, but no egg come out. This actually is more common in the IVF procedure. What happened in this kind of situation due to two factors. A, it could be this is not a real follicle, it's just a cyst. There's no egg inside, which is not very common, because in this kind of situation, usually your estrogen level will not rising. We will not even plan for the egg retrieval. So most common reason is that at the time of egg retrieval, the follicle, the egg, still firmly attached to the follicular wall. That's why we cannot aspirate the egg out. So how could this happen? There are two reasons. A, misjudgment. For many reasons, the doctor didn't get the timing right. And B, could be the defect of the follicle. The egg never be able to mature at the first place. So no matter how you adjust time, you may not get egg. Again, most common is the timing. And the doctor made a misjudgment when might be the right time to take egg out. Now, this misjudgment, quote unquote, is not because the doctor didn't pay attention. It's just based on all the information we have, it's just not be able to predict when will be the right time. There is a 5% of patients, based on our common knowledge and our experience, whenever we figure out the right timing, it's just not the right time. This is more common in the lady with very, very low ovarian reserve. This happens more often in the lady with advanced maternal age at the age of 39, 40, or 41. So what we want to get from today's chat is as following. When you're ready to move forward for in vitro fertilization, there is a 5% chance that either you ovulate before we want to do retrieval, or we successfully went for the egg retrieval but not getting egg. Number one. Number two, the reason this happened is the timing was not right for egg retrieval, which mainly is due to the fact that due to many physiological reasons, the pattern of your egg maturation and the release egg is not follow the common curve of most of patients, which is more common in the lady with low ovarian reserve or the lady and at the more advanced maternal age. Now I want to talk about when this happened, what's going to happen. When this happened, it does not really mean anything. It's a bad start. You're not going to make good eggs. The doctors are making mistakes. It just means you have your own feature when the right time to take an egg out. So even not getting egg, that's a valuable information for us to make an adjustment. In the next cycle, we will adjust accordingly to see if we should perform the egg retrieval after delay for a few hours, or we should do retrieval earlier before we schedule. So in other words, if we want to do retrieval now, but find out you just ovulate, the next time we're going to do retrieval one day early or a few hours early. If we look at everything is perfect, but we couldn't get egg from any follicles, the next cycle we're going to delay for another 1 or 2 days before we trigger you, or a few hours delay after triggering to perform actually the egg retrieval process. So this is what I want to explain for today. And now I would like to just review with everyone about, you always heard the doctor say, we're going to trigger you, and we're going to trigger you with an HCG, we will trigger you with the Lupron, we will trigger you with the nasal spray, we will trigger you with the injection. So what exactly mean trigger? And why do you need a trigger? And what all this medicine have anything to do with the triggering? So I'm going to discuss with you. As you can see, we said, in the natural cycle, the lady to ovulate, you need to have this LH surge. This surge comes from your brain. The brain produces this LH surge. And brain is very smart. Once the egg's ready to release, they will give this surge. Now, we're not getting the details, what the mechanism, how brain is so smart to figure out. But you all need to know is when ready to release the egg, brain gives this signal. And this is the Mother Nature trigger of ovulation. However, in the controlled cycle, let's say you are going to do the egg retrieval, the doctor wants to take your egg out, we can't 100% rely on the natural trigger. Because you never know when this will start. Egg retrieval may end up to be midnight. So we like to do the triggering by us, not by your brain, once we know the egg is ready to come out. In this way, we can avoid the natural triggering to cause the situation that the best time to take this egg out will be midnight. So this is the fundamental mechanism why we always give patient the trigger. Now, the Lupron or nasal spray is a medicine which actually work not on your ovary, work on your brain, as your brain to start this natural surge. The HCG, from time to time patient will get it, is a replacement of this surge. So the mechanism works very different, even though they are all triggers, but they have different mechanism. The Lupron injection or nasal spray medicine actually is a natural triggering, but just to control the timing. With HCG, while still control the timing, but the real trick is no longer from your brain, but actually from the shot, from the injection. And there are pros and cons to decide which trick to use, but that's not today's conversation. But only thing you need to know, the reason we want to give a trick is really for the timing or convenience for retrieval. And this kind of timing usually work out with 85% of the time. Then another 15% of the time, particularly in the lady with advanced maternal age, low ovarian reserve, the timing may be still off, even when we do everything I just said. So when this happened, even the cycle was failed, but this is a valuable information for us to make adjustment for the upcoming cycle. And many ladies still can have absolutely healthy live birth baby, even though they start with a little bit of bumps because they ovulated before retrieval or they failed to get egg during time of retrieval. So this will conclude today's discussion. I hope you learned something. Bye.